guys, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We have decided our next video series, and it's going to be more mixes in jars, but a different theme this time. If you are familiar, by the way, thank you to everyone who voted. If you're familiar with the previous Mix in Jars, this series that we did, which resulted in a Mix in Jars cookbook, you know that it was mostly pantry staples. This time, the theme is make ahead one pot meals. So picture those box meals at the store where it's got rice or pasta or some other kind of mixture of powders and seasonings and all of that. And then all you do is add like a pound of ground beef or a can of chicken or, something like that. And it's all made in one pot. That's going to be the theme of this Mix in Jars series, and we are kicking it off today. Now, we aren't going to be doing all of these videos all back to back because we are going to be interspersing the garden content for the complete and total redesign that I am doing. In case you missed that video, I have taken my garden to ground zero and we are starting over completely fresh. So we will kind of be going back and forth between Mix in Jars types videos and garden type videos. So today we are kicking it off with a kind of alternative to a cheeseburger hamburger helper. Let's get started. Okay, we are going to start off with the pasta for this recipe. You can use any type of pasta that you like. I would say elbow macaroni or the little shells are probably the most popular. I personally have this box of, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but it's been sitting in my pantry for entirely too long. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. But you need 4 cups of pasta, no matter what type of pasta that you use. If you are using a very large noodle, then you do want to decrease that just a little bit, probably by 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup or so. Now, I did want to show you a version of this recipe where we have literally every dry ingredient in the jar. And for this reason, since we are using 4 cups of pasta, which is the average 1 pound box of pasta, I am using a 1/2 gallon mason jar because a 4 course is going to take up the whole, or excuse me, 4 cups will take up the whole quart, and I need room for all this other stuff. But, hold on a minute, it's going to be loud. But the way that I would be doing this moving forward is I would simply have this box and then a pint jar of all of my other ingredients sitting there on the shelf together, ready to go. But for this Mix in Jars recipe, I did want to show you the option of having it all together in one jar. So 4 cups pasta of choice. And then let's move on. We have 1 tablespoon of tomato powder. 1 tablespoon tomato powder. Next, we need 2 tablespoons of beef broth powder. 2 tablespoons beef broth powder. Next, we need 1/2 cup of powdered milk. I do recommend whole powdered milk if at all possible. It's just so much more flavorful than the instant non-fat kind. So 1/2 cup of milk powder. And now we're going to add all of our seasonings. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then we are going to do 1 teaspoon each of smoked paprika. This is Frontier Co-op organic powder in this jar. I'm just reusing the container. If you have been looking for a good, very clean, trustworthy spice brand, Frontier Co-op is incredible. They have the best prices on organic seasonings and spices. So 1 teaspoon of that, and then we're also going to do 1 teaspoon of an Italian mix. Where's my teaspoon? There it is. I don't care if there's a little bit of smoked paprika in there. Okay, and that is it. This was super simple, easy, and fast to make. And as you will see, it's going to be just as quick and easy to actually turn this into a 1-pot meal. Let's go ahead and do that. To kick off this recipe, let's go ahead and add about 1 tablespoon of oil and get that cooking up to medium-high heat. Go ahead and get that swished around, get the bottom of the pan nice and coated decently. I am loving this all-clad skillet. It's my very first piece of all-clad. I used to think that high-level kind of skillet brands were all about marketing until I cooked with solid stainless steel. And now I am a believer. While that oil is heating up, I wanted to show you how I have done my minced garlic. So I used to buy those bottles of minced garlic and water and keep it in my fridge. But ever since we started growing our own garlic, I have kind of leaned into this system. So you can either dehydrate or freeze dry minced garlic. So just mince it up and dehydrate it. If you have a freeze dryer, you can freeze dry it. Both of them produce very high quality dried garlic. So what I'll do, so for this recipe, we need half a tablespoon of minced garlic. So I'm going to do slightly less than half a tablespoon because dried shrinks just a little bit. And then what I do is just add a teeny tiny bit of water to it to reconstitute while my skillet is heating up. It doesn't take long at all for it to reconstitute. I don't know if I can show you this without spilling it, but just enough water to coat all that minced garlic. And I just set it over here. And by the time that the oil has heated and by the time that I have browned onions, this minced garlic is totally rehydrated, and then I just plop it into the skillet. And this just allows me to not need refrigeration for my minced garlic. Hope that tip was helpful. Let's get back to the skillet. Okay, the oil is nice and hot, so we're gonna go ahead and add half a cup or half a chopped onion. I'm just gonna let that brown really well for about a minute or until it's golden the way that you want it. Okay, I've been cooking this for about a minute, so now we're going to go ahead and add that minced garlic along with any water that may have been in it. Let me move that camera so you can actually see what's happening. Although it's nothing special. Y'all have done this a million times, I know. So we're just going to saute the onion and garlic until I can really smell that garlic. And then we'll go ahead and add our beef. Okay, I've been sauteing that for about a minute. The garlic is nice and aromatic, so now we're going to add in a pound of ground beef. For this, I'm going to switch to my ground beef masher. I absolutely love this tool. It really makes browning ground beef nice and easy. Oops. Okay, once everything is nice and thoroughly browned, we can go ahead and add our jar ingredients in our water. One thing I will note that you will notice about this recipe is that we are not draining out the grease. That grease is going to be adding some fat and some liquid to our dry ingredients so that we're not making this dish super liquidy with a bunch of unnecessary extra water. So at this point, we can go ahead and add, I'm going to start with 4 cups of water. We may need to add 5 cups of water total. But we'll always start with less because you can always add more, of course. So we're going to add 4 cups of water. I'm going to try to do this slow so it won't fog up my camera. There we go. Okay, so after the 4 cups of water, that's when we're going to dump in the entire contents of our jar that we pre-mixed together. And here's that. At this point, we're just going to mix everything thoroughly. I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit, and we need to bring this to a boil. This is a pretty cool pasta. What's it called? Colezione? Look at me trying to sound Italian. Actually, that sounded more French. It's probably Italian, I'm sure. What pasta is. Okay, let's bring this up to a boil. Let's talk a minute about whether or not you need to add extra water. So while this is coming up to a boil, I'm seeing if all the pasta is completely submerged, and it is. Once we get to the simmer phase and I have the lid on, I will be peeking under that lid every 5 minutes or so and making sure that I'm not losing too much liquid, that the liquid is being absorbed properly into the pasta, but I'm not burning any pasta on the bottom. So that's how you can tell if you need to add more water. Typically 4 cups will do it. Now that we're at a boil, we're going to lower it to a simmer. See how I'm stirring it and it's still boiling? So this is the point we're going to lower it to a simmer and place the lid on and let it simmer for approximately 15 minutes. Okay, we have been simmering for a few minutes, so I am going to go ahead and add some heavy whipping cream. This is completely optional. I happen to have it in my fridge already. I have certainly made this recipe with no heavy whipping cream, but if you really want to kick it up a notch with the creaminess, go ahead and add a splash of heavy whipping cream at this point. I don't ever measure, but I would guess it's about a 1/4 cup. Get that stirred in nicely. I'm also judging how my water level is looking, and the water level is looking great. I definitely don't want to add any more. The pasta will absorb some of that liquid as it cooks up. So I think we are good to go. So I'm going to put the lid on and allow it to simmer the rest of the time. Okay, our timer went off, so I am going to turn off the heat. And at this point, we're going to add some shredded cheese. You can add whatever type of cheese you want. I typically use Fiesta blend, and you're going to add approximately 2 cups. I know that my hand holds approximately a cup of shredded cheese, so that means 2 handfuls, and that's how I measure. And then give that a good mix. The residual heat will cook up this cheese just fine. But we're going to give this a good stir and then put the lid on and let it sit for about 5 minutes and let that residual heat really get this cheese nice and integrated and melted into the pasta. Okay, here we go. It's thickened up good. Looks like the cheese is nice and incorporated. The pasta's done, which means this meal is done. Let's plate it up and taste it. See how it is. Okay, y'all, that is it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like to keep meals pretty simple. Things that are just laying around the house, that nothing exotic, nothing that I have to go buy a special ingredient for, and just create simple whole food meals like this. Let's go ahead and give this a taste. My kids are gonna love that. Okay, friends, if you enjoy simple meals like that and would like to go ahead and make ahead mixes for one-pot meals, stay tuned for the rest of this series. I am so excited. We did go ahead and set up a giveaway like we typically do, this time for the Make Ahead One-Pot Meals Cookbook. We'll go ahead and run that giveaway for the whole time that we are producing this series. That link will be in the description box if you want to enter, or go ahead and comment one-pot meals and I will send you the link directly. That's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye!